you'll stay average forever. That's exactly what Christopher discovered. For years, he lived on autopilot. He talked about his dreams, but his actions never matched his words. He'd start a workout routine and quit after 2 weeks. He promised himself that he'd save money, but his bank account was always empty. He had goals, but no follow-through. It wasn't that Christopher was lazy. He just lacked the one thing that separates successful men from everyone else: discipline. Once he finally accepted that truth, his life took a different path. He began sticking with his commitments, even when he didn't feel like it. He built habits that made progress non-negotiable. He transformed from a man stuck in mediocrity to one who stood out because of his results. Christopher realized what many men ignore. Without discipline, your potential will always stay locked away. With discipline, you rise above the average and start building the life you actually want. So let's get into it. This video is titled, "Without Discipline, You'll Stay Average Forever." If you feel stuck, frustrated, or tired of being overlooked, this is your wake-up call. Discipline is the tool that takes you from average to exceptional. But before we dive into the 5 points, understand this: watching content is only the first step. If you really want real transformation, you need accountability and a plan. That's why I created my private coaching program for men who are ready to take themselves seriously and finally commit to building discipline into every part of their life. If that's you, click the first link in the description or the pinned comment below and join today. Now let's break down 5 unique ways discipline separates you from the average man. Point 1. Discipline creates consistency when motivation dies. Motivation is temporary. You felt it, you get inspired, you start something new, and for a little while, you feel unstoppable. But then reality sets in, the excitement fades, life gets busy, and suddenly you're skipping workouts, procrastinating on your goals, and telling yourself that you'll start again next week. That's how most men stay average. They rely on feelings. Discipline is different. Discipline says, I don't care how I feel. I'm doing it anyway. That's the mindset that breeds consistency, and consistency is what produces results. It's not the man who trains hard for 2 weeks who wins. It's the man who trains steadily for 2 years. It's not the guy who diets for a month who transforms. It's the guy who sticks to it long term. Without discipline, you'll always live in a cycle of starting and quitting. With discipline, you break that cycle for good. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, you strengthen your ability to stay consistent, and consistency compounds. That's how average men remain stuck, while disciplined men build momentum that never stops. Think about it. Motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. If you master this, you'll always outperform the guy who waits until he feels ready. Point 2. Discipline protects you from wasted time. One of the easiest ways to stay average is to waste your time. And the sad truth, most men don't even realize how much time they lose every single day. Scrolling endlessly, binge watching shows, saying yes to distractions that add nothing to their lives. It all adds up. Here's the problem. Time is the only resource you can't get back. Every hour wasted is an hour stolen from your progress. Average men throw time away like it's unlimited. Disciplined men treat it like the most valuable currency they own. Discipline protects your time because it forces you to prioritize. Instead of living in reaction mode, you live with intention. You say no to the things that don't serve you. You focus on tasks that push you forward. You stop living for temporary comfort and start living for long-term growth. The difference is massive. Give 2 men the same 24 hours. One wastes his on distractions, the other disciplines himself to build, learn, and grow. After a year, the gap between them isn't small, it's enormous. This is why disciplined men rise above. They treat their time like treasure. They understand that every wasted hour is another brick added to the wall of mediocrity. If you want to build freedom from average, you must master your time. And discipline is the only way to do it. Point 3. Discipline builds financial strength. Money problems keep men trapped. And here's the truth. Most of those problems don't come from lack of income. They come from lack of discipline. Think about it. How many men make decent money but still live to paycheck? How many rack up debt because they can't control their spending? It's not that they don't earn enough, it's that they don't have discipline with what they earn. Discipline builds financial strength by teaching you to control yourself. It forces you to budget, save, and invest consistently. It helps you resist impulse spending and focus on building stability. And once you add stability, you gain the freedom to take risk, build businesses, or provide for your family without stress crushing you. Christopher learned this too. Once he built discipline into his finances, everything changed for him. He stopped wasting money on short-term gratification and started stacking savings. Over time, his financial discipline gave him options most men never have. That's the power of consistency with money. And let me be straight with you. If you know that you've been careless with money, you need structure and accountability to break that cycle. That's why my private coaching program exists. I help men build discipline, not just in fitness or mindset, but in finances too. If you're ready to stop living under financial stress and start building real freedom, click the first link in the description or the pinned comment below and get started today. Discipline with money separates the men who stay average from the men who build legacies. Point 4. Discipline builds mental toughness. Life will test you. Stress, setbacks, and struggles are guaranteed. The average man collapses under pressure. He quits when things get hard, looks for shortcuts, or blames circumstances. That's why he stays average. Discipline, on the other hand, builds mental toughness. Every time you push yourself to do something hard when you don't feel like it, you're strengthening your mind. You're proving to yourself that you can handle discomfort. And the more you do it, the more resilient you become. This toughness solves countless problems. Instead of running from challenges, you face them. Instead of letting fear paralyze you, you act anyway. Instead of folding when life hits, you keep moving forward. That's rare, and it's exactly what makes disciplined men unstoppable. Here's the thing. Most of your problems aren't external, they're internal. They come from a weak mindset that avoids pain and seeks comfort. Discipline rewires that. It trains your mind to endure and overcome. Once you build this toughness, average no longer describes you. Point 5. Discipline refines your identity. Point 5. Discipline isn't just about habits, it's about identity. In the beginning, you have to force discipline. You push yourself to wake up early, to work out, to stay on budget, and to stay focused. It feels like effort. But over time, something greater happens. Discipline becomes who you are. You stop identifying as the man who struggles and start identifying as the man who follows through. That identity change is permanent, and it's what truly separates you from average. Here's why identity drives behavior. If you see yourself as undisciplined, lazy, or inconsistent, you'll always act that way. But once you see yourself as a disciplined man, your choices align with that identity naturally. You no longer argue with yourself about whether to follow through, you just do it. Christopher reached this stage. At first, every disciplined act felt like a battle. But after months of consistency, he didn't have to fight himself anymore. He became the man who followed through. That identity shift is why his results lasted, and it's why yours will too. This is the final piece of the puzzle. Discipline doesn't just fix your problems, it transforms who you are. And once you redefine your identity, average will no longer be part of your story again. So there you have it, 5 ways discipline keeps you from staying average forever. It creates consistency, protects your time, builds financial strength, makes your mentality tough, and redefines your identity. But knowing this isn't enough, you need accountability and proven strategies to make it real. That's why my coaching program exists. If you're ready to stop living average and start building the disciplined life you were meant for, hit the first link in the description or the pinned comment below and join today. Without discipline, you'll stay average forever. With discipline, you'll become the man that you were meant to be.